Chapter 3. Sophia Faraday. The girl grits her teeth, digging her fingertips into the bare rock as a powerful gust of wind punches her in the back. The breeze turns her sweaty, golden brown hair into tiny whips which lash her freckle-brushed face. A few loose strands end up stuck in her eyes. She waits to brush them clear until the wind dies down and she can safely let go of the rock. Sophia Faraday stares out across a world that has turned brick red. The sun is taking its last breaths before night smothers its fire. Its final embers cascade across the landscape of barren sandstone, and Arches National Park is set on fire. It is a lifeless beauty, but beauty all the same, and the girl's eyes feast on it. Then a dog barks far below her, and the spell is broken. Sophia tries peering down to see what has gotten Bixby so excited, but doing so makes her instantly dizzy. Her delicate position on top of Delicate Arch, the park's most famous sandstone formation, is a precarious one. She decides she had better climb down anyway before too much light has gone. Tied securely to her safety lines, she begins her descent. "Don't worry, I'm coming down," she reassures her dog, who still hasn't stopped his frantic barking. There are only two reasons Bixby barks like this: when he is trying to play with some critter, or when he is worried about her. Sophia guesses that in this case, he has seen enough of her feet dangling 50 feet above solid ground and wants her safely by his side again. "Dumb dog," she mutters even as she grins. She knows just how devastated she would be if she ever lost her best friend. Her only friend. Sophia carefully chooses both handholds and footholds. She wonders how long it has been since someone last climbed Delicate Arch. Faded signs all over the park warn visitors against scaling the landmarks here, but those rules haven't been enforced for a long time. Nowadays, she is quite certain no one will mind. When she reaches the bottom, she unclips her safety line and brushes her hands clean of red sandstone dust. She straps her headlamp to her forehead. By its light, she gathers her climbing equipment, stuffing everything into a backpack. "Bixby, come on!" she calls to the dog. He still hasn't stopped barking. If anything, he has grown louder and more frantic. Sophia aims her headlamp at Bixby, 70 pounds of hyperactive boxer mutt, wrapped in bristly, tawny fur. All four of his paws look like he dipped them in white paint, and a dark streak runs like a skid mark along his back. When her light finds him, he's yapping at a thick bush of purple sage, pressed up against a sandstone wall. Whatever is in there must be fascinating, Sophia thinks. Her pooch isn't usually much of a barker. "Hey, Bixby!" she shouts again. "We have to head back now, come on!" The dog glances back and forth between Sophia and the bush. He whines, pleading for more time with whatever new friend he has discovered. "Nope," she tells him firmly. "It's getting dark, and we have to walk 2 miles back." After a final longing look into the bush, Bixby obeys and follows. The sky is an inky shade of navy and studded with stars by the time they return to the parking lot. The final remnants of sunlight will fade away within the next 15 minutes. Sophia knows that if she comes back outside then, she will witness one of her favorite sights: the brilliant arm of the Milky Way floating above her. It used to be that someone could only see the band of Earth's galaxy if they went far, far away from any cities. Now, the Milky Way is visible from anywhere, so long as the night is cloudless and clear. There are a few other vehicles parked neatly around the lot. Sophia's motorhome, however, is parked across 5 spaces, and the tarp-covered trailer behind it takes up a 6th. These days, she spends most of her time touring across the United States in the Mammoth motorhome. She prefers bouncing between national parks and other outdoor locations. There are times, too, when she explores America's once great urban centers, but she only goes into the cities to collect important souvenirs. The original Declaration of Independence and the Star of India sapphire are her favorites so far. She also has the ruby slippers from The Wizard of Oz, her mom's favorite movie, on display in her basement, as well as a handful of Pittsburgh Steelers Super Bowl rings. Sophia opens the motorhome door and Bixby bounds inside ahead of her, She turns on the interior lights, then drops her backpack onto the small kitchen table. After a quick glance to make sure nothing is out of place, she retreats to the bedroom and exchanges her climbing clothes for pajama pants, fuzzy socks, and a long-sleeved tee depicting characters from The Lion King. When she steps into the tiny bathroom to wash up, Bixby starts barking again. She ignores him, thinking he must be caught in a weird mood. As she rinses her calloused hands under the warm water, she notices the deep scars that she hates so much. Like an ugly, permanent bracelet, they wrap all the way around her left wrist. Shackled to those scars is a memory so painful she would give anything to forget it. Yet she knows it is one she will remember for the rest of her life. Sophia looks away from the scars and stares into the small mirror above the sink. Every time she does, she realizes anew how much she has changed. Her hazel eyes, once bright and cheery, look hard and tired. While her hair has always been the color of golden caramel, these days it also feels sticky like caramel and is often coated with grease and grime. She almost always sports it in a ponytail to keep it away from her face and neck. Although she has been thin her whole life, the last couple years have turned her into a leaner, more muscular version of herself. Her cheekbones and jawline are certainly not those of a young girl. They must belong to someone in her 20s or 30s, not a 12-year-old kid like her. For the 1000th time, Sophia can't help but feel that she has been cheated out of her childhood. No one should have to experience what she has. As soon as the thoughts start creeping in, Sophia closes her eyes. She takes a deep breath and pushes back against the bitterness. She has taken too many journeys down that road in the past 2.5 years. Silently, she renews the promise she made to herself. She will never wander into that darkness again. Too much has been stolen already. She can't steal even more from herself by living a bitter and resentful life. Bixby is still barking, she realizes with a fluttering sense of alarm. Whatever has gotten into him, it doesn't seem to be going away anytime soon. "What's wrong, buddy?" she asks. She pokes her head into the motorhome's main cabin, which houses the kitchen, dining area, and living room. The dog gives her a sideways glance. He whines as if adding an exclamation mark to his outburst, then returns to his barking. Thinking he might be acting out of hunger, it is almost 10 o'clock, she fills his bowls with food and water. He isn't interested. "Whatever, Bix," she mutters, opening a cupboard stocked with dozens of cans. "Bark all you want." Sophia selects a can of cheesy ravioli with an easy open pull-top tab. She empties the saucy morsels into a bowl and places it in the microwave. 3 minutes later, she's sitting at the narrow table, enjoying her dinner. Bixby, who usually sits next to the table, begging for scraps, still hasn't quieted down. The only change is that he's no longer barking at the front door. He is now on Sophia's bed, barking at the back window. The noise is giving her a headache, but it's the dog's insistent behavior that she finds far more distressing. She leaves her half-eaten dinner on the table and makes her way to the front of the vehicle. She's tempted to drive away, but remembers that the motorhome isn't roadworthy yet. The tarp and straps are all loose on the trailer, plus she needs to secure the awning, which is currently propped up outside the front door. Instead of jumping into the driver's chair, she clambers into the passenger seat. When she opens the glove box, its faint yellow light illuminates a 10-inch long, silvery steel object. The pistol. She hates it, yet won't travel without it. Not after the Asheville incident. She shudders to think about it. She can still smell the moldy odor of the foul house, feel the ropes around her hands and feet, hear the crazy cackles from her basement prison. Never again. She will never be caught off guard like that again. Pistol in hand, Sophia returns to the dining area. Bixby is now running back and forth and spinning in circles. He is more frenzied, more frantic than before. Fierce growls accompany his shrill yelps, and every hair on his back stands on end. "Bixby!" she hisses, Shut up! To her surprise, he obeys. He trots to the front door and faces her expectantly, certain she will finally let him out. Sophia does. Gripping the pistol in her right hand, she flings the door open. Bixby is a flurry of paws and fur as he tumbles through it and onto the gravel. Outside, he performs an immediate U-turn, raising his eyes and snout toward the dark sky. Whatever he's barking at, it's on the motorhome's roof. A lump like a stone catches in Sophia's throat. She swipes the headlamp from the hook next to the door, slides its elastic band around her head, and turns it on. After swallowing a deep breath, she hurls herself outside. Skidding to a halt next to Bixby, she pivots, aiming both headlamp and pistol toward the roof. Her mind is in overdrive, running at the speed of light. She has no idea what to expect. A mountain lion? A bear? Something worse? Her finger tightens on the trigger. "Who's there?" Sophia calls into the darkness. Her voice trembles like a teenager asking someone out on a first date. Not that she'd know. Trying to summon her confidence and courage, she adds, "Show yourself right now. Right now." Nothing happens other than Bixby's strange decision to spin in a tight circle. Sophia aims a harmless sideways kick at him. Through gritted teeth, she growls, "Bixby, shut up." The stress on each individual word does the trick, and the dog falls silent. Her trembling hands keep the pistol pointed upward as she shuffles toward the back of the motorhome. Her heart is beating like a drum at a rock concert. Moving her tongue around her mouth, she tries to work some moisture into it, but jittery nerves have left it bone dry. She fears something may also be lurking in the darkness behind her, but Bixby's attention remains fixed on the roof, so she figures hers should be too. Sophia freezes. Her eyes go wide, and her heart vaults into her throat. Something moved, melting back into the darkness the moment her light fell on it. She tries to speak, but her voice falters. Mustering every shred of courage she has left, she tries again. I saw you," Sophia stutters. "Stop hiding. Come into the light with your hands up. If you don't, I'm gonna start shooting, and I promise I'm an excellent shot." She prays her bluff pays off. The truth is, she's only shot the pistol 3 times. Occasionally, she has gone hunting, but she has always used a bow. And in a world where most animals have lost their fear of humans, they're usually standing still. Much easier targets than a desperate, possibly crazed, human being. The old woman's face resurfaces in Sophia's mind. She sees the filthy, tangled hair, the sick, wicked smile, missing half its yellowed teeth, the wild, bloodshot eyes. For one tiny moment, Sophia is certain she will emerge into the light, certain that she has come to finish what she started so long ago. But that would be impossible. Sophia knows it. Like a human etch-a-sketch, she shakes her head and clears that woman's image from her mind's eye. "Listen," Sophia calls out, "I'm going to count to 3. If you don't come out with your hands up by then, I will shoot. Got it?" No answer. 1. Her finger tightens on the trigger. 2. Okay, a shaky voice cries out. It is more high-pitched than Sophia would have imagined. The speaker, whoever it is, sounds scared. But Sophia isn't ready to back down. She yells, "Come into the light! Now!" She hears shuffling on the top of the motorhome. 2 beat-up sneakers step cautiously into the headlamp's beam. Sophia tilts her head back a few degrees to reveal the rest of the nighttime intruder. Her jaw drops. Standing there, hands raised high, trembling and wide-eyed with terror, is a young boy no older than 9. Some hidden dam bursts in Sophia's heart, and tears well in her eyes. He's the first person she has seen in 2 whole years.